down with OPP, the whole party.
This is the story of three boys. Three boys who might have been in your school.
Three smelly
perhaps
boys.
Even in your grade. Even your friends. And what happened to them might have happened to you. You see, they had a plan. A plan to do something. But they didn't stop to think what the consequences of that plan might be.
Well, boys will be boys.
And now they're in trouble. Real trouble.
That's why they're called boys.
Jimmy is
Trolls.
just plain scared.
Golly, what do you suppose is going to happen to us now?
They'll probably kick us out of school activities for a month, but I don't care if they do.
Yeah, fuck them.
This is sure gonna hurt my mother and dad.
What are you always worrying about your mother and dad for? They aren't going to hear anything about this.
Yeah, fucking
But
puss.
they might even kick us out of school. I'd hate to face my folks if they did that.
Golly, if I had it to do over, I'd sure do it different.
Another chance? Do you really think you deserve another chance?
Sure.
You planned this, Frank. It was all your idea. What do you think about your fine idea now?
Yeah, dick.
And you, Jimmy, how do you feel? Although you didn't plan it, you really didn't give any thought to how it might turn out.
And your ears are ridiculous.
To you, it just seemed fun and a good idea at the time. But you did join in.
He's the missing link.
But Dale, now, you could have stopped it.
Yeah, you're fat.
You knew it was wrong, and you knew where it had a good chance of leading. Then why did you do it?
Yeah, way to go, chubby
I knew
Rutherford.
It was wrong. I knew we shouldn't do it, and I tried to tell them. But they said I was just a chicken.
Guys,
and after all, they're my friends. And sometimes you have to do some things for friends that you don't like to do.
like let him touch your wiener.
Well, Frank said he wanted to do it. He said it sure would be funny. And he was right. It was awful funny for a while.
Funny things make me
Isn't
laugh.
any fun now, though.
How about you, Frank? What do you have to say?
Shut up, voice in my
As far as I'm
head.
concerned, you can thank old man Kraft. He deserves something. Making me stay in because he caught me throwing paper wads. I wasn't the only one. Made me miss the ball game, too. But I got even with him, and I still don't care.
You don't care, Frank?
He just
Well,
said
at least
that.
you didn't care what happened to Mr. Kraft that day he kept you in after school. In fact, you thought of lots worse things to do to him than the plan you suggested to Jimmy and Dale. Remember how you planned it? You and Jimmy? It wasn't hard to convince him. He thought it would be a whale of a good joke on Mr. Kraft. And remember how Dale hung back and didn't think it was such a good idea.
We're gonna start a band,
But how
see?
you and Jimmy persuaded him?
We're gonna call it Weezer.
And how he came along with you just because he was your friend.
Come on! Come on! Alright.
And remember how you went to the drugstore and bought the stuff. And then you went down in Jimmy's basement, and you tried just a little bit of it, just to see how it smelled.
Boy, howdy, that stink.
Boy, it sure does. That stuff will work fine. I can hardly wait to see old Kraft's face.
Golly, do you think we ought to? That stuff's awful. What if it hurts something?
What do we care? What's the matter? You gonna chicken on us?
Yeah, you going chicken?
Well, no,
Sure.
I just thought that... Okay, let's do it.
I don't want to blow up
And do
somebody,
you
so
remember
I'm
the
a
next day,
chicken.
how you three waited through that class, waiting for the end of the period?
Keep giving each other loving
Remember how the
looks.
closer it came to the time, the harder it was
I'm
to
looking
keep
at
your eyes
you.
off
Are
that
you
waste
looking
paper
at me?
basket where you had decided to play your trick? Remember how you felt then? Remember, Frank?
Boy, it won't be long now. This old school's really going to see something. Sure will stink things up around here.
Yeah,
This'll
Columbine
get even with
style.
old Kraft, all right. Sure will be funny.
We'll start shooting in the
I wonder
library.
if Dale's right,
Move to
though.
the
I
cafeteria.
wonder if we might hurt something. I wonder if that stuff might blow up. No, we tried it. Maybe it'd be better if we didn't do it today.
Why is a pharmacy
Maybe we
selling
ought to wait a little
explosives?
bit. Nope, can't do that. Jimmy and Dale would think I was scared if I backed out now.
We think
I'll
you're
just
scared.
have to go through with it.
Remember how you felt that day, Jimmy?
I can hardly wait till Frank gets that stuff going. I'll bet this old
Hey, I'm
one's gonna smell
Frank.
worse than it ever smelled before.
You guys are so
Frank's
gay
always
for each
thinking of
other.
things to do.
It's
Wonder why I
ridiculous.
never have any good ideas. Yes, sir, that's sure going to be funny when old man Kraft gets a whiff of that stuff.
I don't understand why it took 3
Dale,
guys to do this
remember
stunt.
what you were thinking?
To just putting explosive
We
shit in a
shouldn't
trash
do it.
can.
We just shouldn't. I know I was right. Something might happen. Might even start a fire. Somebody might get hurt. And it would be all my fault. I should have stopped it. I should have made Frank give up the idea. I wonder if I could stop it now.
Oh,
I could
woe
go
is
tell
me.
Mr. Kraft, but I'd have to do it before class was over, and everybody'd see me. And I'd get Jimmy and Frank into trouble. They wouldn't like me anymore.
We don't like
No
you
one would like me
anymore.
because I tattled. No, I guess there's nothing I can do about it now.
If each of you had stopped to think, you would have given the whole thing up. But you didn't.
Because you have no character.
You waited until Mr. Kraft dismissed class.
I'll see you later. Here's a
Then
book.
you
I got
quickly put the sack of chemicals into the waste paper basket. It worked, just the way you thought it would. Except you used much more of the stuff this time than when you tried it out in Jimmy's basement. No wonder everyone thought the school was on fire. No wonder the whole thing still seems almost like a nightmare to you, even now. Yes, the chemicals worked all right, but not quite the way you thought they would. The school fire bell broke up the important dress rehearsal for the class play. You hadn't counted on that. The city fire department was called out. You hadn't counted on that either. And the fumes, so bad they made some of your classmates sick. You hadn't counted on the fumes at all.
What's she have, paralysis? What
Classes in
the?
part of the school
They're
had to be
using
let out
nerve
because
gas?
of the fumes. You know how you felt then, but it was too late. The damage was done. Sure, it was exciting for a little while.
I've seen the
But the
trash
results of
bin
your
and
little
the
prank-
damage done.
Well, let's see. The classroom was so badly damaged that it has to be completely redecorated. Painting costs money. And since classes had to be dismissed, time was lost. Time which had to be made up. Not
You've
only by
ruined the
you,
economy.
but by all your classmates.
You're worse
But
than
most
Wall
of all, there was
Street.
the feeling you had when you saw the damage you had done. The feeling that changed from fun to fear, and finally to shame. And then there were the eyes that saw you come out of the classroom, running away from what you had done.
These
There were the
eyes.
lips that told of what the eyes had seen. And there
This
were
is
the
what my
ears
eyes have
that
seen.
heard. Then
The
there were
ears
the
much
looks
smaller
and the
than
thoughts
Jimmy's
of your
ears.
classmates when they learned that you were to blame for all this. And finally there was the note that brought you to the principal's office.
For God's sakes, Dale, why don't you quit worrying about it?
Sure, we might as well face it.
Oh, we're not the only ones. What about those guys drawing pictures in the washroom? What about the time when all
In
those
the
kids broke
washroom.
the windows?
Sure, and carved up desks in Miss Smith's room. The library books that were marked up last week. We're not the only ones who've done stuff around here.
Gee whiz, you don't think that excuses us, do you? There's no,
No.
getting around it. What we did
They're
was
gonna
wrong.
hang us in
We all
Nuremberg.
know it now.
All right, boys. Come in, please.
Come on in, say,
Well,
copper.
Frank,
Yeah,
Jimmy,
say.
Dale, what do you think about it now? And what about you?
Drop your
You
drawers,
have watched
gentlemen,
this
and hold
film.
your socks.
If you had been in this situation at the beginning, would you have stopped to think about the damage you might cause to other people's property?
Probably
What do you
not.
think was the real reason Frank acted as he did?
He's a
What
homo.
would you have done if you had been Jimmy?
He's part
Do
monkey.
you think Dale would have preferred not to join Frank and Jimmy?
But he's fat, so life's
What do
already
you
hard
think?
on him. I think the drugstore should stop selling explosives to children.